record here. Thanks, Carrie, for taking care of that video for me.
Sorry, I just noticed the permission to this morning. Sorry.
No worries. No worries. I appreciate you doing that.
No problem.
I was having technical difficulties last week. So, all right. Well, today we're going to talk about converting online leads. So I'm going to start right away with the video. I'll probably close the door because we can barely start tackling.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wild everywhere today.
All right, let me move everyone so I can make this larger. Hit play.
Hey guys, Lucas here. This week I want to take a deep dive into how we convert online leads. First, we're going to break down the immediate short-term follow-up with the lead that you should be doing and the methods we recommend you use to convert these leads into clients. Then we're going to go forward and talk about how to conduct follow-up with your cold leads on a long-term basis. Sometimes leads don't turn into clients right away, but that doesn't mean that they aren't valuable resources that you should continue to cultivate. Now, there are three really important things to realize about online leads. Number one, where the lead comes from matters. A Zillow lead asking for a home valuation is much more likely to convert to an appointment than someone on Facebook requesting more information about a property. On Facebook, maybe they thought they'd get more access to pictures. One of these streams is a lot more likely to convert than the other. And what this means for you is that if you have multiple streams of leads coming in, you must create slightly different follow-up systems for each of them. The rule for creating your system is this: make the follow-up match what was initially offered. Basically, don't send sellers up to first-time homebuyer leads. Always keep in mind where your leads are coming from when following up. Number two, act immediately. In the past, this meant call the client within 5 minutes. Now, though, most people would rather receive a text or an email. And even better, with these methods, you can actually automate them using software like Zapier. Just a little bit of extra time at the start means a whole lot less work later on down the road. Here are some examples of types of leads paired with their immediate follow-up. A Zillow seller lead. A good follow-up for them might be a text introducing yourself as a Zillow partner, followed up by an immediate question confirming their either name or address or desire to learn their home value, etc. Another example of a lead would be the Facebook first-time homebuyer group. Now, with these types of leads, you're going to want to send them an email right off the bat with your homebuyer guide for them. And then as they fill out the form, it's going to automatically take them to your website with that guide as well. A third example of a lead would be the boom text. And with them, maybe the best thing to do is send an automatic text message right away, asking them a question like, do you have any questions now? It'd be perfect for this situation. These are just some examples of easy, immediate ways to connect with people. You should also pair all of these leads with a follow-up call within the next 4 hours, half a day. And if you didn't get to connect with them, make sure that you use an automated follow-up system. Number three, the connection. The deal, the money is in the follow-up. If you get a lead from Facebook or Zillow or wherever.com and you don't follow up personally at least once a day for the next 10 days, literally throwing your money away. Period. End of story. Now, before we go on, let me say this. If you connect and have a short text conversation on day 1, you can now adjust your follow-up with them based on how that conversation went. Knowing people, your goal isn't to overwhelm them, but to guide them and help them. Now, with that out of the way, let's get back to my mail. They reached out and gave their information for a reason. They needed something. Maybe it was something you could deliver right away. Maybe you had to work on it and then deliver it. Either way, you delivered, and now you are trying to make sure they received it, understood it, don't have any questions about it, and don't need any more immediate or long-term help. One of the quickest ways to get a lead converted is to go see a house with them. So this should be your goal. Get them out to a house. No pressure, no risk, tour of a home. Whether you can get them out right away or not, they invited you into your life to help them. So now you're going to keep trying to help them until they accept it or say no thank you. Remember, having a bunch of leads doesn't count as having business. Now, there are likely 4 outcomes of your short-term follow-up. Number 1, they say, great, can you help me buy a home? 10% of people will buy or sell a home this year, and that means about 3% are ready right now. Sometimes you're going to get a 3%er or an honest 10%er who's getting ready to buy. Obviously, these people are now active clients. This is the number 1 group. The number 2 group here is a lot of them are going to say no thank you for right now. And that's okay, because when that happens, we're going to throw them in the long-term follow-up. We're going to treat them like our sphere of influence, like our past clients, with emails and bi-yearly touches and social reach out. And maybe we can set up postcards. When they are ready, we will be top of mind and possibly get the chance if we have provided some value to them. Number 3 group, we're going to get a no, and they're going to say, please remove me from your list, and then we do that. Number 4, they don't respond in the first 10 days. This is probably the most likely scenario for us. So how do we engage with them to get one of these other outcomes? Well, that's easy. Every day, we add value. Every single day. So here's an example of how you might choose to follow up to get these outcomes that we just talked about. On day 1, there's an automated follow-up and then a phone call. And then from there, you either email or text them a piece of value every single day. On the 4th, 7th, and 10th day, you add in a call, your text or email. If you're feeling weird about calling, don't. The fact that they gave you their number indicates they're open to a phone call. The pieces of value that you offer them can range from connecting them with lenders to suggesting other properties or setting a CMA or offering to do a video tour of a. In fact, one of my favorite techniques for our agents is to have them find a property for a lead that they think is going to work well, send it to that potential client, and they say, I think this is home for you, and because I think this, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to preview it for you. I'm going to do a little video tomorrow at 5 p.m. Of course, you're welcome to come with me and take a look in person yourself, but I just want to make sure you get the chance to see this. Now, for the record, this almost always gets a response. It's a great way to figure out if somebody's going to actually talk to you. Okay, now that you're familiar with converting leads short-term timeline, let's hop over and talk about converting cold leads over a long term. Now remember, just cold leads are a lead that comes from advertising or prospecting strangers, and online leads almost always fall into that genre. Okay, so now that we've talked about the short term, what happens when we don't get any of those responses in the short term? We've touched them 10 times, we've called them at least 4 times within that 10 days, and we're getting nothing, right? They haven't got any of the first 3. They haven't said yes. They haven't said yes, but not right now. They haven't said no. They've just said nothing. So what do we do? Well, we're going to do a modified sphere of influence campaign, which means we're still going to pull them into our sphere of influence. We're going to do a little bit of modification to it. So just like with, if somebody said number 2, yes, but not right now, we pull them into that sphere of influence and we start sending them monthly emails. We follow up with them on social. We maybe do a postcard if we have their address, right? But we're also going to understand that these people haven't talked to us at all. So occasionally we need to reach out in person to them, one-to-one with a phone call, with a text message. And we need to keep doing this forever, right? They're always going to be in our email now, which is great. But we also need to continue to go once a month. Lucas Remax Northwest, just want to follow up and see how you're doing. Have you decided to hold off on the purchase, or are you thinking about making a change here in the next few months? Checking in on them and seeing where they're at in the process. You're here to help, so always be, can I do anything to assist in your conversations? Always asking, how can I help? Okay. Once they go to long-term follow-up, there are 2 things that we have to do. We have to add up to that standard sphere of influence marketing campaign, and then we have to follow up with a phone and a text once per month until they respond. As for what you say when following up on the phone and texting, it's just best to keep it simple. You can do the things like we were doing before. Send them specific property that they might be interested in, ask them what they think. You can ask how you can assist them. You can ask how their search is going. You can ask them to coffee. You can invite them to a client or a home buyer event. Remember, they invited you into their life to help them. Keep the assumption that they still need help until they tell you they do. Your goal is to make sure that they're doing well, and you're reminding them that you're still here to help them. So in reality, it's not that much different than the short-term follow-up. just a little bit more smart. As we've discussed before, cold leads are hard to convert. If you're 10% of them to a completed transaction within 6 months, you're absolutely killing it. So when deciding if buying or generating cold leads is right for you, you've got to decide a couple things. Is it worth the time you're going to have to put into it? And will you commit to putting in that time and effort? Here's the key: consistent. Will you do these things consistently? Because otherwise, once again, you're throwing away. So there you have it. Now your job is to figure out exactly what your 10-day schedule for follow-up looks like and how you're going to implement it. Your homework comes in 2 parts this week. First, I want you to create the 10-day follow-up plan and template out the email and text that you're actually going to send your potential clients. And remember that on days 1, 4, 7, 10, you should be definitely calling in addition to any text or email. Number 2, I want you to create a list of long-term follow-up prompts and schedule 1 day every month to complete these calls and text to your long-term cold leads. It may seem daunting to follow up with the leads so frequently, potentially on a long-term scale, but that's why having a system and plan in place is totally key. Prompt yourself to follow up. Don't let these leads that have value, leads that you paid a lot of money for, slip through your fingers. Take the initiative, reach out, and keep on consistently making the effort to be there so that when the lead decides they might want to buy or sell, you're the first agent on their mind. Whether it's today, tomorrow, next year, or the next time they buy a house 10 years from now, be the agent they're thinking of. Okay, good luck, guys. We'll see you soon.
Okay. Where did it go? Whoa. No, pause.
Hey, guys.
This is Miles.
We like him, but
Hold on a second.
all right. Hey, everybody.
Pamela.
All right, and we got Justin in here. I'll make sure we see everybody that's here. So I think if we got one thing out of that, I would say that we need to have a plan and we need to be consistent with that plan. Wouldn't you say so? So how many people here do already have a plan in place for their follow-up? Anybody? For those leads getting online?
Sam and I were working on the drip campaigns this week to do that. So I think I'll add some of these ideas in there. But I don't know if they're working. I hate to say that, but.
The drip campaign? I actually put a call into support regarding the drip campaigns. So I'll try to get some follow-up on that today. I know I put myself on a drip campaign from Chris's CRM. And I just received the last email yesterday. So I did receive it. So, but we can definitely follow up.
That's what I always have done in the past is put everything that I put out, I put myself into receiving it because.
That's what we did because we just were testing it and we're not getting them. So I'm not sure what I have wrong. I mean, I called support and they said it was set up right. So they're going to look into it. So okay. I don't know if it's, maybe it's just on our end.
Was it email?
A drip campaign? Mm-hmm.
For emails, yeah, maybe it's going to spam or something, or who knows.
Okay, good point.
Sometimes, yeah, like that happens.
That's a good idea.
Which campaign are you guys talking about? Like the monthly newsletters?
No, I created a customized drip campaign.
Okay, I know the newsletters are working.
The newsletters are working, and then a drip campaign that was pre-made without any modification out of Chris's is working as well.
Here's the thing I learned about the newsletters is that you can't put it on a recurring and it go out every month with that month, because I tried that and I had clients getting November newsletters in March. So you have to set those up all individually for each month.
That's true. I have a calendar. I just use my Google Calendar, and the last week of the month, I have a reminder to schedule the next month's newsletter to go out. So it's automated now. I have it every single month, same day of the month. It's just a recurring reminder for me. And then I just go in there. It just takes, a few minutes to set it up. So good point, Jamie. So But make sure you're reminding yourself that you are doing it and it is going out.
Jamie, is your database coming out of a separate database or is it coming out of Booge?
I have my whole database in Booge because Booge is our CRM. So everything needs to be in there.
Okay.
So what Sam and I were working on, just as leads come in from Booge, we had somebody that was interested in first-time buyer information. And so we put together just an email that then links to the website, so that basically you just have to convert them to a lead and tag them with first-time home buyer tag, and then they automatically get that email. So, when you're out and you're doing things, you can at least respond pretty quickly without having to sit down and write an email. So we did that, and then we noticed that another lead came in and it was just everything was saved to their favorites. So they obviously, I'm thinking, made an account. So we made another email campaign that said, thanks for creating an account, and if you have any questions. But they're obviously like just saving their favorites, and we will tell them, like, be sure to be pre-approved. So if you find your home that you like, you're ready to buy. And then we did just a regular like buyer, if they're kind of more vague, to find out where they're at, and we asked them to reply with answers to a couple questions, just to kind of gauge where they're at and stay in touch. But sometimes we decided to do this because we were getting a lot of leads, and they were taking a lot of time, and some of them we don't even know if they were real or not. They seemed a little vague in their their information they're providing. So I don't know if anybody else is kind of feeling that same way.
With any lead system, you're going to get that. Some of them will be great leads. I know you've closed leads from Booge, and then there's just going to be those characters who are going to, make up emails and phone numbers, and it's just across the board. You're going to see both. Some of them will be valid, some of them won't be. But
Yeah, real quick,
ahead.
the internet leads, that's kind of the problem with those, or that's the stigma. So you just got to kind of know how to navigate through it. That's the advantage to doing like a Facebook ad and Facebook lead capture, because Facebook lead capture, instead of allowing them to put in Mickey Mouse phone number 12345, it actually affiliates their real name, probably their real phone number and email, because that's what they use for their Facebook. So it's more accurate.
Good point.
I
So
closed a couple leads from Remax, and then I've also had a couple that the ex-husband uses his ex-wife's phone number whenever he makes an account online. And then I had a teenager one time ask me, was messing with me because she thought I was a robot, and finally realized I was a real person and told me she was 14. And I said, sorry, I don't know why I have your phone number, but she didn't know how I got it either. But I have closed a couple, so it's just the nature of the beast.
Great. Well, good. I'm glad that you have as well. Good. So I guess what's really the most important thing to do is definitely have that plan. I like what I was hearing, Carrie. They do have drip campaigns. You need to check out the campaigns in Booge. Definitely make sure that you're taking Lee's class on campaigns in Booge. She could show you how to set those up to go to your clients automatically, like Carrie's discussing here. You can also elaborate on them, create more emails to go out. You can start your own from scratch. There's just so much in there that you can do with campaigns, and also the task plans. You want to have those phone calls and texts in there as well, so that you're reaching out to them in multiple ways and not just email. Providing items of value. They talked about, setting them up with a loan officer to get pre-approved. What else can we offer?
Dinner at Jags. No, just
really
say
sure.
something. Was that,
I'm
Maybe
never
you
really
could
sure how
do
to
that.
tailor. Who's talking? Who wants to go? Somebody else was talking too, so who should go
Oh,
first?
well, Go ahead, Laura.
I was going to say, I never really know how to tailor my emails because sometimes when people are searching, they're searching because they want to buy. And then other times when they're searching because they want to see what the neighborhood looks like before they list their own property. So I just say, if you're interested in buying or selling, reach out to me because I don't really know why they're on why I've got the lead.
Okay. Well, when they log in, I'm wondering, does it tell you if they are just looking at a property, or can you see if they're looking to find out what their home's worth? Do either of you know?
depends what form they filled out, what,
Yeah, because there is a home evaluation form they can fill out.
Right.
I have a lady that's been and she must search at 11 o'clock at night because my phone goes off every other night, like 10 times from her. She's been searching for 6 months and has never responded to any email I've sent her. And I'm ready to delete her because I don't know what she's doing. I don't know if she's just bored and likes to look at the internet or what,
Mm-hmm.
but she doesn't ever respond to me.
let me tell you just a quick little story, and I mean, this has happened a few times, Laura. Over the last few years, I've worked with some different teams of a lot of people doing the lead, paying for the online leads and being frustrated and not working out, and it's just a common thing. What he said, the guy in the video said, make your decision that you understand what this is about and that you agree to do it, because so many people half-heartedly do it and get very little or any success. But those who understand and kind of look at it, like every lead is going to be a year, just it isn't, but just look at it that way. It's going to be a year. It's like planting a seed, and that seed has to sprout, come out of the ground. At some point, it's going to be worth talking to that person and worth your time and effort. But to confuse these online leads with immediate business is wrong on our part, and so many agents do and get frustrated and give it up. But I have seen a number of times that where a lead a year from now, maybe 2 years from now, somebody who never responded, never, would answer your questions, but you see them still being on the site. You see them, or not even seeing them, just a year or two later, the agent would get a call and say, hey, I'm so-and-so. I've been, thank you for a year ago sending me this. And that person has been using the tools or keep getting the messages, keep getting the email drips, and they reach out when they are ready. And it actually happens. And I've seen it many times, and agents are in shock and I can't believe it. This went well because they didn't give up on them, especially automated drips. It takes zero of your energy and concentration to keep that going. And I would just say, keep it going always, because again, I personally have seen a number of these people just come out of nowhere and say it's because of this. And they would say, if it were me, I would say, well, I can't, this is great. Why didn't you call me? You're the only agent that kept sending me things for a year or two. And
Okay.
you didn't respond. And even though we would accept that, look at that as that person's really not interested, it's a waste of my time. Why did I pay for that lead or that lead I was given free? Why am I wasting my time? Some percentage is going to work out that way. That's not all of them, but it's, I've seen that many times. So what he said in the video about, understand really what this is about and implement it if you are really going to do it and you're going to give it a long period of time. Otherwise, you're just going to, you're going to drop it. You're going to give up. You might as well not even do it at all. That's kind of the moral of the story. That's all.
I agree with you.
Thank you.
I completely agree.
And it's okay not to want to do them. It's okay not to want to work internet leads, right? There's this whole other part of our business, working our sphere of influence, working, that's a more immediate, I wanted to say better way of doing it, but it's another way of doing it. More people do that than work internet leads. And it kind of takes somebody who understands understand what it's about, and it's like, okay, I'm just planting all these little seeds. I don't expect any of them to call me tomorrow, next day. Some will, but you know, you just look at it like a year-long effort to get back some percentage, and it does work that way.
And just have it be a monthly thing, even if it is just a monthly newsletter, because he said that. And
Yes.
the cold leads, you know, schedule once a month. So I agree though, don't stop.
And to your point, Reed, and Karen, that's why you have a CRM. And that's why back in the day before CRMs existed, they had your A lead, your B lead, and your C lead, which was everybody else. So you put your newsletter at least goes to everybody in your database, in your CRM, but your C people only get your newsletter, or they get your newsletter and change your clock and your recipe for the 4th of July. Those are your C people. Your A people should be getting a call from you, at least once a month, or a handwritten note. You should be touching them 16, 18 times a year. Your A people. Your B people, you're going to touch, 12, 14 times a year, and then your C people, you're going to hit once a month with a newsletter and something else. And it takes very little effort once they're set up, and you just put them in your CRM as an A, B, or a C. It doesn't have to be much more complicated than that, but you have to Reed's point, you have to, and to the point of the video, you have to remember to do it on a regular basis. Now, in addition to servicing the clients that you already have, which, that can get confusing to people sometimes, but it's a juggling act.
Well, that's why we want to make it as automated as possible. And they do have those tags pre-created for you already. You don't have to make them yourself. They have an A client, B client, C client in there. They have a newsletter tag in there. So those are already, created for you by Boosh. And then you just have to do the homework that they gave you today on the video, and create that task plan and the campaigns to go with it, and then just set it up. And once it's set up, it does most of the work for you. It's either reminding you to text or call, or it's sending an email out for you. Going back to what Laura said about not knowing if someone is a buyer or a seller, I did want to mention that I think every one of you should, when you're creating your campaigns or using one that's pre-made for you, you were sent a link to the home buyer and seller guides that we have hard copies of. You can grab those hard copies and do it, give them out to everyone and anyone you can. However, you also have a link, and then you're giving them something of value to a stranger you've never met, an online lead. And you can say, in the meantime, here's my free ebook on buying or selling a home. And that should be
That's excellent.
in everyone's.
I didn't realize it's
Yeah.
online too.
Yes. So, and I probably.
And that should be in your email signature, a link and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. You can, use that as something of value to give to these strangers that are coming to you.
I think one more comment from me is, I think the way you have to look at this, working leads and looking for business, and, everybody you meet in Kroger's and whatever, all your contacts with human beings that can be potential business, it's all about timing. And it's not your timing. Your timing is you want them all to be ready to go out and buy houses and list houses tomorrow. It's not about your timing, it's about their timing. And you meet people, talk to people, send things to people somewhere in some timeline of theirs that you don't know where you are in that timeline. Okay, so you have to be understanding that it's okay if they don't want to go look at houses now. It's about their timing. And if you think about it, of course it is. Everything we do, there's a time you want to do something, the time you don't, the time you're not ready, and whatever. And if you just accept the timing issue, that it's not your timing, because your timing would be, we all want it right now, but allow it to evolve it on their timeline. you'll be less frustrated and you'll probably have more success because you can't push somebody to buy a house now if they're not ready for whatever reason that you don't even know about, you have to let it be on their timing.
So just as you guys were talking and I was writing down, and I had just been working with Sam on this, the drip campaign, you could do 5 of them. What we noticed is the first one, people are asking like, can I see this house? But that's like really the third step in the buying process. First, it's meet with an agent. Second is get them pre-approved. And third is to, look at a house. And so Remax online, just on a blog, has 8 steps to the home buying process. And I kind of tweaked that and put that on Sam's page and then just said, hey, we received your email that you'd like to see this house, but you're at step 3 and let's take care of steps 1 and 2. And then we sent them to the web page so they understood the steps that are needed. But then in the conversations that we've had this morning, the next email could be a PDF sent to them for their wants and needs. Just so that they can have like a clear, thought of what do they really need in a house versus what they want. And then, as you had said, Karen, the buyer's guide, just send them a link to the buyer's guide. And as they said in the video, the 4th drip campaign could ask them if they'd like to receive a competitive market analysis. And then the 5th email could be, would you like me to set you up in a client portal where we send you, I will send you listings. So that could be 5 of the 10, and maybe the other 10 touches your calling or texting, and you can just set up your reminders either from a Bouge reminder or your own reminders in your calendar. So,
Yeah.
but I think that could be like a quick, easy way to put a drip campaign together. The initial setup takes time, but literally you're just converting them to a lead and adding, online buyer lead, and those emails go out for you.
I think that's
automatically.
excellent. That's excellent. And you're right. It's just time up front, and then it does all the work for you after that.
Mhm.
And what were you saying, Miles? Oh, he's muted. I can't.
I was just looking at the chat box and typed something inadvertently there. So
Oh. Okay, no worries. I want to make sure we weren't ignoring something that needed to be said. So, all
Aaron,
right.
it's Jamie. One of the big tools we had, Justin just mentioned it just briefly, is most agencies and brokerages, you have to pay for this on your own, is the AVM model, or automated valuation model. Every agent has that within their website, and that's a good little way to kind of bait the hook for sellers. Now, that we all know that model is not, probably 80% accurate, but it gives them a way to actually interact, and you're going to get their information if they're going to want further information about getting a true CMA.
Great point. Great point. Yeah, use that page on our website for sure to try to reel them in. Anything else? Any other suggestions, questions?
As we were watching the video, I was just thinking to myself, I don't know what his name is, but he does a great job.
He does.
But I thought that 10-minute explanation of lead generation and how to do it was very concise and well, I'm gonna listen to it again, because just that whole picture of what this is about and how to do it, I just think was a good,
Yeah, it was excellent.
good little educational. There's some people who don't, maybe the first time, people new, especially in our business, don't understand the difference between, lead prospects and real leads and whatever,
And like I always say, make sure you're following up, do your homework, actually go back to your office, schedule time on your calendar to work on this, and then, get it done this week or this weekend, and then it's done for you for going forward. And then also follow up by, make sure if you need more help, you're attending the Bouge classes and learning more about task plans and campaigns, and And then also if anyone needs that ebook, that's something I can send out again as well. You know, utilize all these resources that we have for sure. It's just gonna help you better your business. Anything else?
And this is not,
Go ahead.
this is not so much on internet leads, but one of the ladies in Beth's office up there asked me, she said, you know, I've only been a realtor for a few years now, and when would be a good time for me to start, you know, calling my past clients? And the best time to call your, you know, start calling your past clients is, you know, the day after you close that deal, and continue with them from then on. And she, I mean, she's a good agent. She does a good job. And she's, well, you never thought of it that way. She went home that weekend and sat down and because she needs leads, you know, she needs listings, and she generated 4 real leads from just that weekend. And I followed up with her, and she's doing it all the time. She is generating leads from her past clients. They're either referring her to somebody, or they're getting a divorce, or they're getting married, or they've had a baby and they need something bigger that they weren't anticipating so soon. And she is generating real leads from those calls. So, you know, everybody here has been doing it long enough that you should be digging back into your database of those you have. And if you didn't keep their contacts, you know, you can always go to the auditor's site. You know which ones you sold. You can find out which one you sold and contact them that way. But it is working, but you got to pick up the phone or send them an email or send them a text.
There's actually within Booge, there already is a post-closing drip campaign that every one of you should be setting your client up as soon as you close. But that's the one I have being sent to me from Chris as a test. So, you know, put that on your task list. You know, you close, then the very next, right after closing, set them up on a post-closing drip. That way you're still staying in contact with them even after you've done the deal together.
And update their new address in the CRM. It's the biggest thing it's missed.
Yeah. Don't send it to the old.
Yeah, don't send it to their old mailing address because you just sold them a house. So obviously their address changed. We all laugh at it, but so many people miss it.
And to somebody else's point, I think it was Karen's once again on the Skyways magazine. You know, you can get people's email addresses. Hey, we've got this wonderful resource book. Send me your email. I'll send you a link to this book for all the West Side recommendation, you know, all the West Side contractors or West Side book on real estate. And that way you'll get another email address, a good email address to put into your CRM. And it can be, you put them on your C list to start out, you know, and build that database.
That's a good point. And I know Jamie actually in one of our classes kind of went over how to do that and how to, you know, if you want to do a Facebook ad and try to, you know, pull people in by offering them this free ebook by getting their information. So
Bait the hook.
Yep.
You wouldn't go fishing without a worm.
I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah. I think we should add that.
And I hate to fish.
Sorry to read that.
If you're gonna take anything away today, do not go fishing without a worm. Okay. All right, so if there's nothing else, you know, just reach out, do your homework, go to the Booge classes, and I'm here to help as well. Read
And watch this video again.
Yeah, and watch it. Yeah, it was a good one. Go back and watch this again.
Beth had a question and I know I cut her off.
I think she was just going to make a joke about the steak dinner. 10 jugs. So I know her very well. All right. Well, everyone have a great day today, and do not hesitate to email, call me, text, and reach out if you need help with any of the things that we discussed, okay?
Thank you.
You're
Work hard,
welcome.
be
I'll
nice.
see you later, young lady. Bye, everyone. Have a good one.
Bye.